Hello and welcome to another video. If you cannot hear me very well, then too bad, because this is what's historically accurate. In case you didn't read the title of the video, I am today making a video as if I were 15 again. This is how I made speed paints back when I was 15. Yeah. The thing about past Katie is she never scripted her videos. She just started talking, and she usually didn't talk for very long. I would just say like the bare minimum that I needed to say about whatever it was I was drawing, and then I would let music play. But I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to try to talk throughout the whole video. We will see if I can make it. If I can't, then, oh well, I guess we can just slap some music on at the end, and that will be that. That would make it more historically accurate anyway, because that's what I did. And because this isn't scripted, there's going to be a lot of me just saying, and like. So that's gonna be so fun for everyone. Yay! Another thing about past me is I used to draw on my laptop. Well, I used to draw with a drawing tablet on my laptop. Now I use my iPad, and so the UI looks different. But for the sake of historical accuracy, here, we're gonna make it look more immersive. We're gonna make it feel like it's 2017 again. Let's go. I hope you're enjoying the music. This is what I usually put on my videos back then. Yeah. And I also would always put the music attribution in the video itself over top of the speed paint instead of in the well, I also did it in the description, but I did it in the description and on top of the video. So, yeah. That's fun. I'm gonna be honest, this whole video idea sounded a lot funnier in my head, and now as I'm doing it, it seems less funny, but, it's still funny to me at least, because I know how I used to make videos, so. I'm going to be so honest with you guys, the full extent of my video editing back then was just speeding the video up, right up until it got to the 10 minute mark. Because I thought for sure that I was going to reach a point where I could monetize my videos, and I heard from somewhere, I don't even remember where, but I heard that if you stretch your videos to 10 minutes long, or longer, then you get a little more ad revenue from the video. So that's what I did back then, and, yeah. I also never really cut out unnecessary parts of the video. Unless it was like a huge stretch of me doing nothing on the canvas, then I would cut it out, but like for little things like shuffling through the layers and picking colors and stuff like that, I would just leave it in the video, and to be honest, it wasn't that big of an issue back then. But now that I'm drawing on my iPad, all the different menus are pop-ups, so it's very jarring. But I know that if I had drawn on an iPad instead of my computer back then and I were editing the video, I would still leave those parts in. I would still leave the color wheel and the layers in. So that's what we're leaving. We're leaving it in here. Yeah. I'm gonna be so honest. It is so hard to talk without a script. I don't know where I am going with any of this. I had written down some notes, but I'm already through all of them, I'm pretty sure. This is a chaos experience, oh my gosh. And I genuinely have no idea if anyone's going to be able to understand a single word I am saying, because my laptop mic is so much worse than my phone mic, and that coupled with the fact that I am going to be putting copyright-free music over this voiceover, and it's going to be significantly louder than I would put it on my usual videos. That's just gonna make it so hard to hear what I am saying. I guess as far as how I used to record speed paints, I could cover that. I used to flip my canvas and zoom in and out a lot back then. I thought of doing that again today, but as I got into the process, I kind of forgot to do that. I mean, I still do it to some extent, but not nearly as much as I used to do it when I was younger. So it's a little less jarring, which I guess is ultimately a good thing, but it would have been funnier if the canvas was just going crazy the entire time. I also used to undo and redraw strokes a whole lot, like over and over and over. And to be honest, I still do that, so maybe I need to work on that. Another thing, going back to talking about the music, sometimes I would play the same song over and over again in the same video, like just repeat the same song multiple times. I don't know if I'm going to do that again this time around, just because I don't know how much mental turmoil I want to put you guys through, but but yeah, I guess this whole thing was supposed to be an April Fool's type video, just something silly and lighthearted, and I'm going to be so honest with you guys, I am already running out of things to say. Like I mentioned before, in my old videos, I didn't really say very much. I'd just say hello, and then I'd tell you guys what I was drawing, and then I would be like, I don't really know what else to say, so I'm just gonna put music on till the end of the video. Enjoy the rest of the video, and that was the extent of my voiceovers. That was it. So now that I'm trying to actually stretch it without a script, it is so difficult. I guess there was one other thing I used to put in my voiceovers, and that was me insulting my own art as I was drawing it in the video. Like, I would trash talk my own art in the voiceovers, and then I'd just be like, okay, I ran out of things to say, bye guys. That was all I could think to say, was to insult myself. Rewatching my old videos for research purposes, it was kind of painful. Whenever I said anything mean to whenever Past Katie said anything mean to herself, I would be like, no, don't say that. Yeah. I guess I could talk about what it is I'm drawing in the video. It's really just a simple portrait drawing, as you can see. I had done a little sketch on a scrap piece of paper, and I really liked how it turned out, so I decided to make it into a finished digital drawing. I did edit the original sketch a little bit. I changed the expression to be a little more emotive. Before it was kind of blank, so I gave the character more of a smile. The character himself is actually possibly an OC of mine. This is like a early design concept for a character that exists in my head. If I were to ever make a webcomic, I think that this guy's story would be the first one that I would try to actually create. Because the story he's part of, it's really silly, very unserious, which makes me feel less afraid to share it, because if people think it's stupid, I can just be like, hey, that's the point. It doesn't need to be good, it just needs to be fun for me. But yeah, this guy is supposed to be the main character of that story. I keep calling it a story. It's not really a story at this point. It's just a bunch of random ideas in my notes app. But the basic premise is that he is hired to work as a hero in all these different realms. Basically, if a character within a story denies his call to action, he goes in there and fills that role for the person who was supposed to be a hero but decided they don't want to. So basically he's like a substitute main character. That, at least that's where the story's at the moment. Wow, talking without a script is so hard. This is taking up a lot of my brain right now. I can't talk on command. I just can't. I cannot talk on command. I have to think out what I'm going to say first, but it takes me a long time to think. I forget where I was going with this now. I guess I can talk about the character himself. His name is Cody because I felt like that was like a pretty standard, underwhelming name. I want him to feel kind of generic. My goal for his design is for him to look a little bit like a kid's cartoon character. I want him to look cheerful and friendly and approachable. but also a little bit, like I said, a little bit generic. I haven't figured out a full body design for him at this point, but I do think I want him to have a primary color palette because I feel like that just screams main character. Mostly main characters from kids' shows. The story itself is not explicitly for kids, but it is going to be kid friendly, and I want him to feel very kid friendly. But yeah, if you ever do happen to see this character again, he might not look like this in the next video because, like I said, this is just like an early design concept. I still don't know yet what I want him to look like. I do kind of want to keep his big ears though, because I like drawing big ears, and if he's the main character, then that means I would get to draw big ears a lot. So, you know, that's also why he has flippy hair, because I like drawing flippy hair. As for his eyes, I cannot decide if I want his eyes to be blue or brown, because if I make them blue, then it'll fit into the primary color palette that I want him to have. But I also really like brown eyes, and I like drawing brown eyes. So I don't know what I want. Surely I've talked enough to go to the end of the video by now, right? I don't actually know because there's been a lot of empty space with me not talking, and I'm gonna have to edit that out later on. So I don't know if I've reached the limit or the end of the video yet or not. But regardless, I'm going to stop here. So if there's still a huge chunk of video left to watch, then enjoy the royalty-free music that's playing in the background. And thank you for watching, and remember to like and subscribe, but only if you want to. That's how I used to ask people to like and subscribe. I would ask them, but then I would feel bad about asking them to do something that they might not want to do, so I would tell them to only do it if they want to. Yeah, goodbye now. This is the end of the voiceover.